Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, and it only means one thing. It's another edition of the Ellen Carrington Show. Can you believe Christmas is only 2 weeks away? Yeah! I hope all of you are getting those all-important tasks of decorating, shopping, and baking finished. But you need to take some time for yourselves by attending some fun Christmas parties, too. So everybody stay safe out there. Don't drink too much. Don't work too hard. And have some fun. It's a great time of year for most people. But anyway, if you're not freezing to death, of course, the only place no one's freezing to death right now in the United States is most likely Florida. And by the way, I hate you for that weather right now. I'm sending you my heating bill. But while we're talking about fun, Kristal McKerrigton is back on the show today. Yay! We are going to have some interesting things to talk about. And we're going to kick off with the book Reborn To You to start. Kristal, welcome back once again.
Yay, thanks for having me back.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we always have fun.
Yeah, I'm freezing here in Glasgow, by the way, so I'm with you on that.
We're sending Florida our heating bills.
Yeah, we haven't got snow, but it's pretty cold over here. We've got torrential rain constantly.
Ooh. Well, I can handle rain. It's snow I can't stand. So go ahead.
And that's just the thing with your intro. I will be working Christmas.
I probably will be too. Because I'm still doing the outline for my next project, so most likely I'll be working too. But you know the old thing, if you don't work, you don't eat. But anyway, let's kick off by telling us about Reborn To You.
Joe wrote, Joe kind of is the main writer for this one, whether people want to whether people feel comfortable or not with it. We decided to do it back in, it must have been April. We were working on a lot of other projects, and I said to him, do you want to do some writing? And he said, yeah. And I said, all right, cool. I said, my memoirs just got ripped off of the website, XY Publishing, because I left there kind of like the beginning of 2013.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, yeah, let's do it. So I started writing his autobiography, and he felt a little bit strange about me writing his and him not knowing anything about me. So we decided to do a swap. He would write mine, and I would write his. His ended up going back to him, and he's finished writing the end of his. And I ended up writing the end of mine because we just couldn't do the Skype thing all the time, And yeah, now it's out, and it's weird because I'm getting mixed feedback on it. Some people think that it's very depressing. Other people think it's very inspiring. So it's been weird, and especially weird when somebody kind of messages me and goes, oh my God, you really did that? And I'm like, yeah.
Well, call me biased, but I loved it. It made me think. And I like books that make me think.
Mm-hmm. So what was your favorite part?
Oh, gosh. My God, I can't even pin down even one. I just love practically the whole thing. I mean, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you think. And when a book touches you like that, you know the person did something right.
Yeah. Oh, well, it took a long time to get there. I mean, I'm a scatterbrain, and I think anyone who's ever wrestled will probably kind of understand this. Or anyone that does extreme dancing will understand this. But I took a lot of knocks to my head over the years. It's just ridiculous how many times I would hit it on the end of a bar or smack it on the DJ booth coming up to do my intro or whatever it was, really. I always seemed to hit my head on something. So when it came to going back and trying to remember, all the things that happened and when they'd happened and what had actually happened and what was a drunken haze, it was harder than people think. So I actually had to go and I had to dig out a lot of old dance contacts and shape them down for, old stories and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't just them. I actually had to go back into my life and talk to, friends that I'd gone to school with. I think I even talked to, an ex-girlfriend at one point. I was like, were you the girl that I did that with? And, just having those embarrassing conversations. But we got there in the end, and I mean, it's sometimes I get a crazy story that pop in my head, and I tell Joe, and he's like, we should have added that to the memoirs. But I mean, that's just the way it is, and it's the same for him. Like, it was super. Like, he's got 3 books coming out. His life story is a lot longer than mine, obviously. And he's actually starting. Like, he's just written the first one. We're waiting for his computer to be fixed, and then that'll be going into edits, and it'll be released next year.
Oh, cool.
And then we are going to start the second book.
We have to start.
Which is going to be crazy. Yeah, it's beyond crazy. Because I have to motivate him a lot of the time.
Well, you know.
He loves, yeah, I mean, he lives for wrestling and stuff, so writing is very difficult for him sometimes because you have to he has to sit down and he has to do it.
And you know, I found too that a lot more work goes into nonfiction. I don't know if you saw that or not, but in my case, it does. It seems to be. Because the next 2 projects of mine are going to be nonfiction. You already know about the one I had planned. It's going to be kind of a tribute book because I didn't get the go-ahead to do the actual biography of the retired wrestler. But of course, the next book that I'm working on now that I'm starting in January, which shouldn't take long to do, because I pretty much gathered everything over the summer to start it. It's just a question now of getting it written. So the next 2 projects are going to be nonfiction, and I saw, my gosh, the work that goes into these things. I mean, fiction, you can just flow it off the top of your head and it's there, but this, you got to really do your research and get your act together, and I don't know if you've experienced that or not.
Oh, I have, because it's so funny, because particularly I find this with Joe's, but like mine's, it was more like, okay, I can't remember half the clubs we performed in. Oh, I don't remember what happened in them. I couldn't tell you where they happened. It's one of my favorite stories. I wish it had made it in the memoirs, but I only got it I think last week or something like that. Was we were in a bar and there was memory foam seats. It was just when memory foam was just coming out, and this bar it had memory foam seats, and we were there 2 hours before the thing was supposed to start. So me and Zeus and Derek and I want to say Maya, I think Maya was there, we decided that we'd have a game of shots. If they could, you had to be able to name all 4 of the butt cheek imprints correctly in order to win. If you didn't win, you had to do these shots. So, it was okay, we've done our stretches. I was stretched physically out by my mentor Zeus, and everything was done. Zeus was the only one that got all 4 right. The rest of us was doing shots, and he
oh my goodness.
He got all 4 right. I think he's the only man on this planet that can actually look at an imprint and go, yeah, that's Kristal.
Wow.
It was unbelievable, the sort of stuff we used to do. Boredom is a wonderful thing. And I mean, just I can remember the stories, but I couldn't tell you what year that happened in. If Maya was alive, then it was probably 2006. So that was my biggest thing, was sitting down and having to go through the timeline. I have some old diaries, so I was able to go through them. But that was the hardest, just researching, fuck, where were we at that part? And I mean, I'm lucky that Jay's still alive and Venom's still alive, and I think Charisma's still kicking about. So I just literally reached out to them, and I'm like, dudes, do you remember when this happened? Any idea where? And they helped me out so much. And it was so great. I was up in September. I was up seeing my family in September in my old hometown. And I was literally walking through the hometown, and I met Venom just on the flight going up there. And she had me help out one of the dancers that was up there. I think I did a 30-second verbal introduction and a little dance battle and where I went. But it was so good to sort of kind of go over the old stories with people. And Joe loved them. I don't know, he laughed.
Uh-oh.
So many times. He got mad at certain parts, especially I think it was with the religion in the school. That seems to be a big topic. That seems to be the thing that everybody focuses on. It's oh my God, you were hated for having a religion in your school? And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you could get hated for being a girl in my school. That was, it wasn't anything near me. But just getting people's reactions from it is crazy. And No, you can't hold back. I mean, I think I was talking to this. She's the most amazing person in TV, Mary Ann Queen Butcher, fantastic woman in LA, does a lot of like TV and stuff like that. So I was just talking to her about something, and I said, I was telling her a little bit about my life and about how I grew up with Jimbo Fix-It and stuff like that, and she just couldn't believe it. She was like, wow, especially like coming in and talking about it, like the BBC never paid any of the kids that worked for Jimbo Fix-It or did anything after Jimbo Fix-It. None of us ever got paid for anything we did. And just sitting like and hearing the reactions to these stories was the best thing that I ever did. But with Joe's was more clinically researched than I was anticipating. Because you were like, he would tell you what happened, and it was very clinical, like you were, he was dictating, a speech or something. And I would have to go in and I'd have to warm it up a bit so it wasn't so cold. And I'd have to say, okay, well, what were you feeling at this particular point in time? Or what do you feel now, And the response, like, just kind of getting through that book and stuff was great. And I mean, I know he's looking forward to doing the next 2 books. I think the next 2 books is going to be the longest journey for the 2 of us. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
So you were telling it, of course, about the message I got on Facebook yesterday, and of course, for those people who don't have Facebook, tell them what you are offering right now.
Well, me and Joe, we're doing a special limited edition of double signatures for Fighting for Love, which is our first ever book that we did together. Well, first book that we've released together. So actually the first one we wrote together. So you're to message me if you want one. They're $19.21. That includes your shipping. And you got to remember it's coming from the UK, so it's like
going to take a while,
you
people.
can't get it any cheapness.
It's going to take a while, people.
It'll take 2 weeks.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Because anything I got from overseas, usually it's about a week or 2 I got from overseas.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks, because we're just sending out the first batch. The first 2 books is going on Friday. I'll get another delivery on Friday, and then I'll sign them and send them to Joe, and then Joe sends them off to the actual readers themselves. But I'm surprised how many people's gotten back to me about it. I thought there wouldn't be many people that would want special copies, but so far so good. We're selling them quite well.
Yeah, especially this time of year.
Interesting idea. Yeah, especially this time of year.
Because usually this time of year, everybody's spending money on Christmas and the like.
Yeah. Well, we're doing a special launch day as well, where we're going to do signed print copies of Waking Up His Wife, which is my first wrestling romance novel out in several years. That's coming out in print. We're doing I think currently we're only looking to sell 20 of them. So, but it depends. If we get a lot of response, then we'll just keep doing it. But we're going to have a day where everyone can message me. And we'll have a group on Facebook. You can join in. We will be giving away free ebook copies. If you buy a print copy, then you'll obviously get it signed by me and Joe, but we'll also be doing other things. Like I've got 4 gold chokers, which we'll be giving away.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we've also got a phone cover, which we're going to be giving away too. For I think it's an iPhone phone cover. So we've got that, which is going to be given away. But obviously, the more of you that buy the print books, the more that we'll obviously do these kind of events. We're also going to be releasing Being Amber in the next few weeks, and we're releasing Norse God's Lovers in the beginning of 2014.
Ooh, neat. Oh. Yeah, people, if you don't have Facebook, sign up now, if nothing else, to like this page that's coming.
Yeah, so we've got so much that we're doing. Joe's wrestling on Sunday. He's actually teaching a seminar on Sunday in Germany. He's wrestling on the 20th and 21st in Germany, so get over to Joe E. Legends for all the information on that. And if you're in the UK, Joe is going to be wrestling on the 21st of March in Inverness, actually.
Oh, cool.
He'll be wrestling in Inverness for BPW PCB, I think it's wrestling.
Oh, pretty cool. Oh, already getting going. Year hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, he's one of these people that gets booked up really quickly, which kind of
Well,
I
he
have
must
to
be
then
doing
fit the
something
schedule
right.
in around him.
He's doing something right.
Yeah, he is. I've got footage of him wrestling in Israel, and it's so fun. You know, some of the things he does, it's like watching really good wrestling that I haven't seen in years.
Well,
And
you know
it's,
what? And you know what? Most indie shows are pretty decent because they're not so closely timed for one thing, and second, most of those guys can just go nuts.
yeah,
Because in the big leagues, certain moves are banned. You got to get it done in, let's say, 10 minutes. If you go 11 minutes, you're going to get your head chopped off or whatever. The producers are on your butt.
yeah.
Whereas with these indie shows, they can go for 20 minutes and do everything under the sun, and nobody's going to say anything, basically.
Well, I mean,
unless
Joe
you
was
kill
in the main
somebody,
event
but
in
that's another
Israel.
story.
Yeah. Well, he was in the main event in Israel. It was just the whole thing was really well done. He worked this guy. The commentators were funny. Not that I could understand a word they were saying,
Wow.
but they were funny. He does stuff in Germany. I think there's a great YouTube video of him in Belgium, I think it is, where he's wrestling this guy, and the guy's terrified to wrestle him, so he's chasing this guy around the ring, So yeah, I mean, I love Joe's performances because they are funny, and you don't get a lot of really interesting wrestling that's funny anymore.
Especially on television, for the reasons I mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I wish he was in something like TNA right now because he deserves the exposure because he's so good.
Oh, excellent.
He's done television wrestling here in the UK for World of Sports, which is coming out in 2014.
Oh, cool.
It will be shown in the States. I just don't know what networks it's going to be on in the States yet. I do know that it'll be on ITV in the UK, and you should be able to watch it online. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm all like, oh, what's it?
Well, if it comes to the States, a cable channel here will probably pick it up.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. Me and him got a supposed, well, we're waiting to hear whether we're going to accept it or not, but we got offered an acting role in a film in Detroit. So we're waiting to hear whether we're going to accept that or not. We're just kind of waiting to read the scripts and stuff like that. So, which I thought was really cool. That's with Indie Gypsy. So we're really kind of excited because that would be different for me. Like, I haven't done anything on camera for quite some time. So returning to do salsa dancing, street salsa dancing, may I add, is really cool for me. And I think Joe was getting offered a role as an enforcer. So that would be kind of cool to work with him. I haven't worked with Joe in that capacity before, so I think that would be quite cool.
Be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, sorry?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we've not worked an acting job before, so that's kind of my thing. I want to try all these different opportunities as they come in, and I think to do something like that, to work with Joe in an acting role is kind of like I would say the icing on the cake, because then it means I've written a book with him, I've done radio stations with him, and then to act with him is just like, you never think that's going to happen, so that's kind of cool. And plus, me and him will be meeting up together when he's actually up at the wrestling show in Inverness. I'm actually traveling up to see him and hang out with him for a night or so. I don't know if he's here for a couple of days, but yeah, I will probably be seeing a lot of him.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, well, so there might be some funny ass pictures on Facebook, if nothing.
Oh, I can't wait to see those.
Yeah, I think we're going to put them on the fan pages too, because that's kind of nifty. We're celebrating at the moment, which is another reason why we're doing the special side book copies. Joe hit 266 fans on his Facebook fan page for his books only.
Good.
And I hit 1,010 fans on my Facebook page for the fans.
Ooh,
so
way to go!
Yeah, it's a huge leap forward than what we were expecting. So yeah, that's been great. Leaping Lanny Pavo is still beating me and Joe in the competition we've got with Solace, which is
boy.
come buy some of our books.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a celebrity imprint competition going on where we're all trying to outsell each other. So me and Joe are trying to close in on that gap with Lanny. Yeah, it's just been great. I mean, this month has been completely insane for us. So we're negotiating, we're kind of getting into the negotiation stages with a couple of mainstream publishing companies. So we're really hoping that we're going to be seeing more mainstream opportunities coming in the next year. It's all crazy. It's all happening. None of us know whether it's going to, we don't know how many of this is going to go. So we're just kind of taking it one day at a time.
Oh, sounds great. We're going to stop at this point. We're getting a little low on time. For everybody who's listening out there today, we'll be right back in about 5 minutes and see what else Kristal has to offer us today. Hang on. We'll be right back.